Hello everyone, welcome back. In this part we are going to learn about strings in C++. Strings are used to store and work with text such as names, sentences, and messages shown to the users. Okay, so a string is a sequence of characters. In C++, strings are commonly created using the string data type, which makes working with text easy and flexible. Okay, so let's now take a look at a simple example. Okay, so to create a string we can use the string keyword. We can use string keyword like that, and we can name our variable to be equals to name, and we can set it to be equals like John, like that. Okay, like that. Okay, and we can now try to output our name like that. Okay, like that. So here string is the data type. Okay, string is a data type. As you can see here, string is a data type and name is a variable. Okay, our name is a variable. Okay, so the text is written inside a double quotation marks. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so let us now take a look at but here, as you can see right now, you should note that here we are using the string, and the string comes from a library or a header file called the string. Okay, so we can include it like that. We can say string, as you can see, like that. Okay, and this one enables us to work with the string. So if we try to delete this one, and then we try to say that name dot, okay, as you can see here we have append, we have, let us try length, add a semicolon like that. So as you can see, this one here, a pointer to a bound function may only be used to call the function. Okay, so if we add like that, as you can see, we remove the error because this one is a function. Okay, and as you can see, it's coming from the std blah 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 blah, returns the number of characters in the string. Okay, so here we have different functions we can work with on strings. Okay, so we can include this file here, header file, using this hashtag include preprocessor directive, and we can include the string like that, the string header file. Okay, so I'll talk about this in future parts. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can display strings with the count. Okay, so you can combine strings with text and variables when displaying count. Okay, so we can do it like this. I think you saw this one in some previous parts, okay, where I did it. So you can say that name. So to add it, we can add these double less than symbols and in between. Okay, so let me write it from scratch so that you can see. So we add those one, and we want to output something like the name is that one, and then from there we want another to add another like output in the console. We just add those add double less than symbols. Okay, and we can say that we want our name. Okay, name like that. Okay, so if we save, we are going to get the name is John. Okay, so if we try to compile, let us try to compile. After compiling, let us try to run. As you can see, we get the name is John. So the double less than operators, okay, allows us to display multiple values in one line. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can get the string input. Okay, so to get string input from the user, we can use the scene or the get line. Okay, so we can just say that we can say scene, and we can say that our, so we use, instead of the less than, we use the greater than, and then we put it there in our name like that. Okay, so from there, if the user enters, so this one, the name is going to be like the default. This John, the John is going to be like the default. Okay, the default name. So we can remove this one. So our name is going to be like the default name. Okay, the default value. And if the user enters something, okay, something or a word, if the user enters a word, then our name is going to be equals to that word that the user has entered. Okay, otherwise we are just going to assign, if the user enters an empty name, we are going to assign our name to an empty name. So if we try to save, we try to compile. After compiling, let us try to run. As you can see here, the user has to enter the name, so let us enter Rashid, like that. As you can see, our name is now Rashid. If we try to run again and we don't enter anything, we just press enter, 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 we are going to keep the terminal is going to keep on prompting us. So let us add a dot. As you can see, it becomes our name. Okay, so we can try to change this one. So if we try to compile and then we enter Rashid, and then we try to run and then we enter Rashid Omar, as you can see, we only get Rashid because CN only reads one number, and after a space it doesn't read anything after a space. Okay, so to do that, read a full sentence with spaces, we use the get line. Okay, so we use the get line, and then we have to provide the let us try to hover over this one. So as you can see, we need to provide the input stream and the buffer, okay, to store that information too. But here the input stream is going to be our scene console in, and then our buffer is going to be our name. So if we try to save and then we try to compile, okay, let's try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. After running, let us enter Rashid Omar. As you can see, we get Rashid Omar out like that. Okay, so this allows the user to enter a full sentence including spaces. Okay, so we can also get the string length. So to find the length of a string, we use the length function. Okay, we use the length function, so we can say that name dot length. So we use that and we add the pair of those parentheses like that, and we add our semicolon like that. So this one is going to return an int value, so we can store it in the length variable like that, and then we output our length like that, and we can delete this line like that, and then we can change this one to the length is like that. If we control S to save, and then we try to compile, then we get, as you can see, our name has 4 letters. Okay, so this returns the number of characters in the string. Okay, so let us now take a look at accessing characters in a string. So each character in a string has an index starting from 0. Okay, so in programming we start counting from 0. Okay, and the indexes start being counted from 0. Okay, no negative index. Okay, so that one exists only in mathematics. Okay, and it also exists in programming, but in a logical way. Okay, in a logical way. So let us now take a look at how we can access our J. We can access our J just by saying that here, instead of getting the length, so we can get Control Z, and then we can say here we are getting the character, the char. Okay, the character, and here we can how are we going to access? We use so we type our variable name, okay, which is the string name, and then we add those pair of angle brackets, or the square brackets, and then inside we can put the index, the position of our character, okay, in that string. So John J is found at position 0, at index 0 in John. Okay, so we can type 0 like that. If we try to save, okay, so as you can see here, we are getting, so here the length, as you can see. So let us change this one to the name because it is the string name like that. And if we try to save and we try to compile, after compiling, let us try to run. As you can see, we get J. Okay, as you can see, so we can get let us use -1. I told you that there are no negative indexes, but I added on and I said that they exist, but in a logical way. So if we try to compile and we try to run, as you can see here, we're getting an error, a big error. As you can see here, we are getting an error, location blah blah blah, type unassigned int. As you can see here, we're getting some errors. Okay, so we should stick with positive indexes. Okay, if we try to compile, try to run. As you can see, we get O. Okay, so this the first example that I showed you printed the first character of the string. Okay, so we can also change the string. Okay, we can also change the string. We can say that our name is now equals to Jane, like that, but it's a string. It's a string like that. We can now save, and we try to compile. After compiling, instead of O as the second letter, we are going to get E as the second letter. Okay, so we can also combine strings. So to combine strings, we can use the plus sign. Okay, the plus sign. So we can say that this is the first name, F name. Okay, and let us create another string. This is going to be the S name for the second name, and we are going to say to be equals to Rashid. We add a semicolon. We can now say that we have another string, which is the full name. We can set it to be equals to F name. Then we can say plus the S name, like that. We add a semicolon. But if we do something like this, it means after our name, immediately after our name, after John, we are going to have Rashid. Okay, without a space. So we can add a space like that by just adding another extra plus sign, and in between we can add our space like that. If we try to save, after doing that, we try to compile. Oh, here we are having an error. As you can see here, we no longer have the name, so let us change this one to S name for now, and even this one, let us change it to be S name for now. Even the name down here, let us change it to S name for now. So if we try to save, after saving, we try to compile. After after that, we can now try to run. After compiling, we can run. As you can see, we now get E. Okay, we get E. Okay, so let us output a full name instead of one. Let us put output full name. So the full name is going to be full name, like that. If we try to save, after saving, we try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. As you can see, we get John Rashid. Okay, so we can also compare strings, okay, using the comparison operator. So we can say that the output, let us say that we use the parentheses, and inside we can say that S name equals to F name. Are they equal to, are they the same? We can try to compile. Let us try to run. As you can see, you get false. Okay, but let us change Rashid to be the same as John. We paste there. We try to save. We try to compile. After compiling, let us try to run. As you can see, we get a 0. Okay, so we get a 0. So this returns this one here. As you can see, right now, as you can see, we are returning only zeros. We are returning only zeros because these are not the same. Okay, they are not the same. So if we try to run, we still get a 0. Okay, so we get a 0. So that's it because they are not equal, they are not the same. Okay, so let me take a look at. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so in the next part we shall take a look at math in C++. Thank you so much.